Hi family, welcome back to my channel. Igama lami Sokhela. Namhlanje I have a special guest, Sokhela, right? When God gave me the names, He gave me the names and the pictures of the people because when I didn't know Sokhela, and I had to go and Google, like go to the internet and be like Sokhela. And I saw ilanto kake clips, and I was like, hey man, kudala ngwabona lama clips, but bengayazi ukuthi ngubani lo muntu. And I decided there and then, I'm not going to watch any of your preachings because the more I see, the more the sun. God, I'm not going to pause in the deep end. So whatever is or she will learn, it will be basically new to the people, but it's will be challenging. Like there's no information coming out in Kulumela or Nengiazi. The only thing I know when we conversated was that Mrs. Stenga, which is I don't know whether it's Stenga or Sokhela, no, but you came from somewhere and then you are relocated as Stenga. So can you please kindly introduce yourself?
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm from Sokhela, Sandile, izalwa South Coast, Potchefstroom area. Ngilapha eStenga ngomsebenzi wenkosi. Kade lusibanda ePotchefstroom igama lakhe. Then we moved with the family. Umfundisi nabantwana sesiStenga, so endaweni bezokuthi Groundville lapho sikhonza khona bakhe.
Baba, is it Sokhela or Sokhele?
Sokhela.
Oh,
it's an A.
Oh, but I'm going to tell Sokhele.
Yes.
So originally Misuka from Potchefstroom, no one said Potchefstroom being umsebenzi wenkosi.
Umsebenzi wenkosi kodwa futhi ke ngiyazalwa khona mina ePotchefstroom kodwa unkosikazi ezalwa kwaNongoma.
Which tells me so what is just this person because this is what I saw I get nervous when I have to interview this is purely because I sort of some asiko proper. But prior I don't even want to come to calling because if I come to calling I know you back, but can you just take me when ukule kaya do come from ikhaya la kunenkolo khona noba likhona but ibingeyona ivangeli abasindisiwe? What was the dynamics in terms of the religion?
Yes. I come from a religious family. My grandmother from one of the AIC churches, those African indigenous churches. I would prefer not to mention igama lesonto kodwa babila amabandla awasebenzisa amanzi newasho nentambo. So I grew up from that family enjalo and isonto lalisekhaya lithi. So people will come and stay some days ekhaya belashwa or bethandazelwa. So ngiphuma kuleyo family kenjalo then ukwenza ukuthi ke mhlambe kube nzima when I accepted Christ sengimukela insindiso to be received by the family and people. And abantu they were asking a lot of questions about how can you live in all yasekhaya lapho thina sisizakala khona and you go uya kwelinye ibandla. But
that was the setting.
That was the setting.
Elalini ke manje bakhona abantu abasindisiwe noba it's just that ila masonto afana nesonto lakini noba bakhona abanye abantu abasindisiwe abakhona?
Unfortunately not. In fact, Umkhuleko used my high school teacher, Mr. Bolani Sbia, who was from the Municipal College of Education by then, who came to our area as of Umisa endaweni yangakithi. Mina evangeli ngangade ngilamukele kwi-camp yasebandleni lele sengikhonza nayo, which was not ibandla li-emphasize indaba yensindiso. It's one of those mainline churches. So wafika uthisha Sibia-ke, he played a role enkulu, big role in my life ngoba wayengifundisa esikoleni also aphinde abe like a mentor to me. entweni zakomoya wasithandaza naye ehlala ecollege in a cottage after khona teacher used to come and pray. He would come to my house, to my home and pray. Yeah. I grew up with, but ibandla nje eli Pentecostal or charismatic, no, I didn't like it.
If Baba uthi kufika uBaba uSibiya, does Baba uSibiya come and do a form of an SCM back then? Okanye, how do you then meet Christ?
Yeah.
And uThixo sebenzise yena as a teacher.
Yeah, uSibiya comes when I had already accepted Christ. Because I accepted Christ when I was 12 years old. And because ekhaya mangivakashela elimisa mhlawumbe angiqala ukuthi ngikhulele komalume kulo mama. Then mase ngivakashela kababa, then ngafika ke ngathunyelwa ecampini ngoDisemba siyiswe ecampini yabasha ebandleni. So ngahamba ngaye ecampini nami emncane nje nabafowethu ngafika ngabukela khona ke uKristu. Then I come back ngazoqhubeka nempilo komalume la.
Sorry not to cut you. If you say you were probably 12, was there any specific in accepting Christ? It was just like, you know, at a general call and then there was some sort of conviction. You would say, I really want to know the side of inkolo better.
You know, mina inkolo engangiyazi ukuthi yasekhaya ngasikhula which was of the AIC church. But my grandmother was a member of the church.
That you were encouraging.
Yeah. So she was a strong believer. And but omalume baphuma nabo nomama baphuma bonke because babethi bayafunda bona, so bafuna ukuyolasha. Then babuya sebebuya nale nkolo layiletha. But in the picture a clear gogo before this religion came into the picture, because she's the one who taught us how to pray. Wehamba nogogo bayokhuleka entabeni nabanye. So mangifika ngapha I remember kwakuvulwe ngoma 6 ukuthi nina lafa ngikhangiso ngabehamba kanjani. So it was the 29th of December 1993. So
this is now Baba in the camp.
In the camp.
Right.
In the camp now. Sorry if I mixed it.
No.
In the camp now. And wakushumayela Baba umfundisi Umkhuleko, who was a full gospel member by then. Now he's an HUC, Holy Church pastor in Potchefstroom as well. Then that's when I gave my life to Christ. It was only me in the altar call. Owaya phambili ngalelo suku lomhla 29 ebusuku. But it's one of the days that I will never forget. I still remember that I was wearing a brown jacket and a short, a navy short. Was still a while.
Now you get Christ, side then you have to come back.
Yeah.
With Ekaya, with a different, do you decide to hide to sensiwe and just because we are still a child and do whatever they do, or you are bold enough now to say, Uti, I love you guys, but this is the route that I've chosen for myself. I'm no longer going to be able to mix the two.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I come back when I'm still not independent.
Yeah.
And but learning Yamugala is so strong in my life. I come back and I share. Nomkhulu wami by then mkhulu, this is what happened. Ugogo akasekho now. This time. And this is what happened. I still have izinto zenkonzo yala ekhaya ezasemzindeni nami like intambo esasiyisebenzisa wathizwa bezosivikela. Sengikhulile sengiphethe angifuna ukuyilahla ngizoyine umkhulu. This is the story now. And that old man, he smiles and laughs and says, we call it a cockwack. Long and everyone, we are not lost. But everybody else in the family didn't understand in such a way that I was the black sheep of the family and I took it's a long story up until they wanted to chase me out. In fact, in a way, they did chase me out of the family. Because remember, it was an embarrassment now that people are coming here. And people were flocking, yes. People were coming in numbers. Like, and me on a Sunday, I walk out and go to another church. And my uncles and cousins, they didn't receive that teaching. It's an embarrassment.
It's some sort of a disrespect in a way. I get it. I get where they come from.
In a way. So in a way, I was deprived as music though. There's a more discipline. Seriously so. Now I'm in primary school. I'm going to high school. Then umama Mrs. Mtembo, I still remember her. Mama Kambola Helen Mtembo, who was a member of this church now. Then we get Legakoko, which is UCCSA. I'm not afraid to mention. Who took care of me. One fellow, there was a school, shoes,
so probably no one was taking care of your needs. So until we are because like how you have a black sheep of the family.
And by this time, my mother is working in Durban. She's working in Durban. She gets these reports. This one time she comes back home. Diliwe show yonke into. Ngiyakhumbula nje iminyaka edlule sike saba nenkonzo lapha ekhaya. Usewumzalwane manje. Sike saba nenkonzo efakaza ukuthi ngelila ngebusuku kwathatha izele. Okay, an ex. Etufuna nje ukushaya ikhanda. Ngicanje ngakhona because she was so irritated by this thing.
Reports athunyelwa.
Why will I leave the nkonzo yasekhaya? Inkonzo ehlonishwa kangaka. Yeah, so
what keeps you going, Baba? What if you are that young? And yes, you were of an age of 20 something, which I believe low age financially you can go even some piece job. But 12 going up, you're still escalating. You're still a baby to be taken care of. Sure. What in a driver, I am not telling, regardless of the fact of how I'm treated and I'm misunderstood, but I'm going forward.
It was God who took care. Because engifundile obizwe manje sengimdala ukuthi uNkulunkulu will always raise people of uhambo lwakho. Hlezi uzovusela abantu bohambo lwakho. So wavusa lwamama naye ngoba nalo leli banga lelo which was a mainline church by then. Not everybody was clear about indaba yensindiso, but she understood me and was nagamtuzonakekela. And mangise standard 5 ngoba wayenemoto evene ayithatha ngayo ingane zesikole, then she was hijacked and killed. Babulawa abantu babethatha imoto yakhe. I'm doing standard 5. When I get to high school now, I'm doing standard 6. I meet Mr. Smith, who also played a
in terms of mentoring.
In terms of mentoring and taking care of me. He during lunch time, he would give me the keys, the cottage, like I tell you, the cottage, the right in, and I was sleeping in his house. He had the single bed, he became a father to me. In fact, she is the one who was used by God to see a calling in my life. It's a story for another day.
Which is I'm still going there because I believe there's a difference in ukwazana no Kristu ukusindiswa. And then there's also a difference, there's a different dimension when God now starts to speak about a calling. But even before I go there, do you have friends calling about you are that loner that I always used to fight with abantu abasenziwe esikoleni sami. Abantu abasenziwe, they used to irritate me. I used to say it out to my friends, esenziwe, since high school, you guys, I sometimes look at you and I'm like, I owe you an apology. I made your life hell because you didn't irritate you in a way. So do you have friends when you are that loner that or you don't mingle around?
I didn't have much of friends, but there were guys that just concerned about them. Now, UCCSA, Mabuto, so I would say these are the people that I spend most of my time with. But most of them were older than me. Got to base high school now, yes, and high school. But most of my time I spend with Mr. Spear, and
he's still alive.
He's still alive. He's still alive. When I was graduating some years back, I had invited him to come to my graduation, but I'm planning to visit him because I'm told that he is now back into the area of the Sokhela high school, so deputy principal or something. So
he's still active.
He's still active. He's still a teacher there. I'm sure he's old now, but he's still there. I always tell teachers when I'm invited to speak to teachers fellowship, teachers Christian fellowship. Now, not this or which I'm a product of your teachers. It did not give me only education, but it also gave me salvation, introduce me to Christ. So yeah, ile yokusethi ngasekhaya ezilalini nje ezinjalo. There are no Pentecostal churches, just those mainline churches and those AIC, African Indigenous churches, as a corner. That is the setting.
I don't know where AIC is. But I don't think it is because now I come from a setting where Amazayoni Nefe.
Okay.
UCCSA. Okay. I think those are the churches that is Kulezi. Yagamadi Sekunama churches of Manani, and that's what they're called. But the churches that dominated with Zioni, AFM, and which is called AFM Sakula City 5 Mission. There's not even what's the name that it's faith mission, not 5.
Apostolic faith.
Yes, and yes, 5. As a result, that's why we have 5.
Then
10 years, most of them it's faith, not 5. Wow.
That's a 5 mission.
Yeah, so it's a 5 mission.
5 mission.
Wow. But how do you come across if you get saved at that young age? When does God start speaking into your life? Or before even God speak, do you know what it is calling in your life? Because sometimes I went back and what. But is there any of that where people can identify in the little fellowships that it matters?
Yeah. When I was still at primary, there was no SCO. So when I was at primary, I put A in high school. I will make sure that on this day, the Puma, the adoption Puma, your calls high school. This high school was the SCO. So I'll go there, then must figure the corner or teacher or the corner, they'll give me a platform to preach. So I started to preach things.
Baba, you were serious about the gospel. Like you took Christ and you were serious.
I was serious. This man said, you know what? I couldn't really understand what was happening in my life. Even in the community. Even now, when you're speaking, no matter where born, then I'm very crisp, but there was something more than that. It meant among the people. What is happening here? So njalo ke ngiphume ngiye lapha ngiyoshumayela ke so in fact this is when now Mrs. Bia I meet Mrs. Bia. Yeah, I remember that I'm 75 yena wafika lapho. I think I'm making a mistake man it was 2006 wafika 75 ngilongifika la ngamazi ke kanti ngiyeza the following year high school. Yes. So phuma njalo ngazama ukuyiqala iSCO primary ngoba wekhona uMethinzimande ozayo eMdlamini owayemzalwane ezama ukusintroduce but it was mainly singing nje ingane zazijabulela ukucula nokushaya izandla. There was less preaching naye uMeslamini wayedwa so ngafika kuyena ngaxoxa naye wangi-understanda but nje abanye nabothisha bebona nje ngathi nokuqina lana kule nto engekho right. Into engisebenzela-ke kakhulu eprimary ukuthi ngani-bright number 1 number 2 so which gave me a respect primary esikoleni ukuthi hayi noma nawo lo msengane kodwa uyaphasa. Yeah. So ngibuye ke ngize high school ke ngalezo nsuku ethile ke ngizokhonza ngabo kanjalo. But komumbuzo kwawubuza ukuthi what sustained my life.
Yeah.
I think uNkulunkulu wangifundisa nje there and there to pray. I think that's how I'm saying that humility, where there is prayer involved, because I experienced misunderstanding with prayers at a very young age. So I developed a habit for it ngiye ngezansi emanqineni amadala ngasesisuke khona esawuphapha phezulu yemanqineni amadala and pray. That's why I used to pray under the tree, and that's where I used to have visitations in hours. Namanje ngisho ukuthi leso sihlahla somsululu sasisebenamandla even now, I'm so tired. We handle it because I remember who is in the car. And my experiences under that tree are amazing. This one time, I remember it was something like a cloud, a mist. In my body, I don't know it must have been cool. Now, up in our father for to but I experienced joy, I experienced something that I cannot explain. I began to speak in other tongues. One girl that I was on Puma in the Velepire. So it was specific.
And really at the time you were just a teenager.
Just a teenager. But I'm full note. Full enthusiasm, full Zulu. Full note nje. Naseka bang understanding, nalabang understanding. But ikhona into eyenzeka eyenza ukuthi abanye bangihloniphe. When I entered the room, there was so much presence there. All over the house, then I entered because it's when we were that there's so much presence of the Lord. Never understand them, but everybody that was in there began to respect me. I remember which they left the previous day, we had the shower in York, we lay there fancy pants and including the fire and balls and balls. It was vexing how it was. Nyoba ne umntu ngedlula nyoba nansi gaqela ukuthayela wesicapha saselebiyona into ebizwa ugogo wayinqaba ukuthi wayishaya inqaba wayishaya kodwa nansi into elishikela unqofe phansi lenyoka kwanoma bephuthuma bengibona ukuthi angiphuthumiswe esibhedlela yini lenze njani but ngathi anginalutho. So I've had experiences that were shocking to myself and to the people I was with.
Wow. So God was doing signs and wonders even before you knew those were signs and wonders.
Yes. I think so. Because I remember the next year camping again. Ngifika la ukuthi ukhazi wethu uyagula kakhulu. Sihamba camping. Usibuya ecamping uthi usisi wami. Yazi ukuthi ngiphuphe siyokhulela lapha. Ukhazi wethu uyagula. So ngicela masifike ekhaya. Sihamba siyakho. So ecamping ke sihamba ngomhla 29 sibuye ngomhla 1. Sasihlukanisela khona ngomhla 29 December sibuye ngomhla 1. And ngempela masibuya saxoxela umama ukuthi sifuna ukuyothandaza lapha bathiwa sinahamba kodwa nje akekho into enakile ukuthi lezi ngane
khona into eselasebenza
sengijole nawo usisi wami omdala-ke manje ngijole nawo ngimfethu obuye ecamping from my father's side.
Okay.
So masifika lapha yena nangempela ukhazini wethu khumbula ukuthi wayengasagqokile ngesinto ngoba wayinebhoko ma-sharp pains. So imithi all over around her nemithi abeyiphuza usesisi wembhedeni uselele ocansini ngathi usekhulakhula kalale phansi ocansini. And I remember singena ngapha nesisifana mfethu sicula nabanye mama from the Methodist Church who were there and we began to pray. I don't know what happened. We began to pray. Oh, yakhumbula sisembamba. Yakhumbula ukuthi njengoba ngibambile nje nase ngijubile ngoba kwakunokushisa kulezi ndlela zami. Jubile la months nayo julukile bazama imphethe. I'm praying naye siyakhulela. Naye wazaqala wakhulela. Then she began to say, "Yabonga baba." Immediately when we finished praying in the morning, they said, "Just walk out." I walked out of the house and it's in the afternoon house. We came inside the house around 8 hours the next day. Safoso. Mama njengoba kulesikhathi nje for 6 ngiphelele iparish ngicela wadla banokuloke la izolo and so the parish uphili asize sizokubona and let to go but wavuka that day. Now she's a policeman uyasebenza ngabe ngihlangana ngitshela nje
Baba, Baba, if you grow now, you go to a high school, you pass a high school, and at what stage does God start to talk about calling? Now that you have done all this, I'm still amazed by the fact that no one taught you anything. Like not necessarily but in terms of prayer and on all the visitation, himself, without any of the introductions of that. But almost from the high school, at what age does God start to talk? Or there's calling that is part of it.
Before I came here, another miracle of my life. On 1995 or 96, kwakhona inkonzo yeba kwakhona uhlelo lwabaso Radio Zulu asikhathi because kwakhona inkonzo wathi uhamba bayeni kodwa umuntu omusha
Okay, so
yeah. So babe baneyinkonzo abalihamba bezenza kumadolobha. So ngo-1995 or 96 ngisagqibela kahle kunenkonzo kaNkulunkulu omusha esemzimkhulu esikoleni ekuthiwa esibhedlela ekuthiwa isendizweni eGrandville esibhedlela ngapha emzimkhulu. UMr. uyahamba uyojoyina abanye othisha phezulu. Ngicelile ekhaya and bathi abanayo imali, so I can't go at night. This time around ngiyolala nje lala nento zakho zokhala uzoya kule nkonzo bese ngimtshela ukuthi umkhulu ngase ngihambe ngiye kule nkonzo athi imali izothatha ngihambe kusho kodwa ngiyahamba phakathi so mavuka ngekho ngevuka lethi ngihamba lana-ke phakathi kwale area sikuyona kukhona umfula ekuthiwa waseNtabeni ohlukanisa iKwaZulu-Natal Transkei by there. So wawuthi moya emzimkhulu abengaseXhobo ungene ngepassport. So early hours of the day ngempela ngivuka ngigeze ngiyahle ngiqonde emfuleni. I've never crossed that river. And lo mfula emzimkhulu kwaba nabantu abawelisa abantu namazibuko athile ngoba umfula omkhulu. Ngahamba abanye mama babeyotheza ngoba babevuka nabo early. Bangibuza bathi ngiyaphi ngithani ngenkonzweni bathi lapho inkonzo ukuthi iphesheya Transkei. Bathi awukwazi ukuyobona umzimkhulu nje. You can't. Ngithi mina ngicela ngithandazele ngiyahamba. By then I'm shaking. I don't know what's happening. I'm shaking. Then but I worried. Bama ngaphesha umfula bangibuka ngawela ngazange ukuwela ngabambela ematheni ngaze ngaphumela ngaphesha baweva ngilala ngaphesha ngakhonza.
So where do you now take the money? Umuso wena umzimvuko uthola imali on the other side.
Engathi kukhona imali uMrs. ngiyona but yayinganele.
Okay.
Ngisakhumbula kahle kodwa ngikhumbula ngafika ngathola iveni olinye iveni lamavutho oqoqa ngithatha ngibeka emzimkhulu. Mase ngifika emzimkhulu nansi taxi sizoke ngasekhaya nangimrs. Kodwa sengifela njani ngimabo emzimkhulu. Or not allowed to use the text. I have a low concept and so that you learn UCCSA about 12 pila ngabuya ngifuna futhi afike ekhaya. So leyo nto leyo ngiyakwazi umfuni ukuthi wayengozana namzimkhulu usatshwa nganani made another statement in my family and in my life. We don't understand what is happening in Lengani. I see it. Yeah. So, what was your question?
But the question was saying, when does God now come into your life and talk now about your calling? Because all along you're Sokhela and you are doing these things. But when was it clear?
When I came back from Umkhuleko and there was another level of revival that was in my life. So when I'm SPS, I'm not going to encounter Sakuna and Cons. Kwaqala-ke manje ukuthi there's something extraordinary that is happening that you do not understand. Sekune-deliverance esengiyeva njena masinemlindelo ozingekho iy'nkonzo ey'ningi so sasigade umlindelo ukuthi ungalaphi akushone khona siyamlindela siyomenzela ngoKristu. And now I'm starting to exercise nje amandla enginawo thandazela abantu bahayize babe izimangaliso abanye very khuluma imoya hayi othisha sebeyangisaba hayi abantu yabo Then Mrs. We are sit down with me, he says, I think there's a call of God. Because of the team, it's a call of God. He's speaking correctly. He says, I think you don't go to this. Ufuna ukuba yini ngifuna umfundisi bayiseka wenda sikhuluma lento ke yaze ubaba ke ngasendaweni yasekhaya ngaphinde kuyikhanda but was preaching then umama wami ke gives me the name of this man and that's it. Just kind of feeling more kind.
Okay, yeah.
I was then convinced in 1998, convinced that I had call, and the corner isn't especially ngaseSentebeni umsebenzi wesikole high school. I think it's one of the things that forced me to sit down. We are failing to strike a balance here. This is not you. I think you're going to take much of your time. Because wasihamba kude ngoba alikho ibandla la. Then nje eSentebeni lapho ezogcina ngasibona. So we are fighting this way. Arrange things for me up until I finish my matric here in Durban. This college actually in Connect College, which was more like a finishing school, but essentially because I've started prayer groups specifically now for the church, because by then it was still very difficult.
You're shocking me when you say, Guti, when you grew up, you wanted to be umfundisi, because I still want to ask that question, Guti. Prior before Uze, full-time incidents in your course, what plans did you have outside of your calling? But also you wanted, I came from a different setting. Abefundisi were not really, they were not really much of an aspiration.
Yeah.
When you see umfundisi, it symbolizes poverty.
Yeah, let me say this. In fact, when I was in primary, I was inspired by my principal, Mr. Mahlanzi. He was a music conductor because I was singing in Aquinas High School. So I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
So when I see him walking verandas of school, but when I get to high school, I wanted nothing else but to be a preacher for it. And it's amazing ngoba nabafundisi ngibabona njalo because noma ngidleba mainline church siseva umfundisi who's serving another church somewhere but comes once in a while ukuzokwenza isidlo la. But I'm convinced ukuthi I want to be a pastor and ngikhumbula iyaqina kakhulu lento when ushoniwe omnye ubaba endaweni sasikhonza naye kwafika pastors from Maryland ababeshumela lapho ayaqina kakhulu lento to support. Ngikhumbula ukuthi ngathi ngiplaniwe kukhona umfundisi wami ke Reverend PS Lamini by then ngiplaniwe ukuthi ngishumele setting yasebandleni yayithi kuba khona usihlalo kube khona umshumayeli kube khona umfakazi ngozongena. When I'm doing my testimony there, I was doing my testimony there. Hey, you can and ukufakazi bami ukuthi okusenhlizweni yami nje ngifuna ukuyosebenzela lokhonza uNkulunkulu ngelami yakhe. uNkulunkulu angisize nalo ngithandazisa ngifuna ukuba umfundisi. And uma ngenzi lokho ufuna lothola. Hey, that gave him a shock. He stood up in fact wahlala phansi namuhla sadly wangichazela yena njengomfundisi kade ngithisha for years then from there wayengizwa umfundisi akuyona into ngoba
yes ayona nto ngavele uvukele ugijimile
ukuthi imali yahlusheka bachaza nje ukuthi batholani abafundisi but I wanted and ngoba kwangithatha isikhathi ukuthi agcwalise ama-forms ngoba he had to fill in the forms. In fact bawagcwalisa ama-forms ami kodwa wangawahambisi uhlelo lwesebandleni fellowship of vocation so that you can start school. In such a way that my forms were filled and submitted by Mfundisi Umakanya, who was at Umlas now because I was now fellowshipping here in Durban. He had to fill those forms and send them to me. It was an industry uhambo lokuhlola ibizo lakho.
Which year now do you start, after everything is said and done, you get that opportunity, which is, I'm still shocked. I never came across anyone who wanted to be a pastor, in all honesty. No. Mhlawumbe bakhona manje laba abancane because opastor sebebahle manje sebegqoka right. Abethu nje befundise hayi manje hayi. In fact wawudabukelwa ngoba kuthiwa umuntu umfundisi waqoma yo umfundisi awushame Nkosi imthwale because there was that okuhlupheka kwakukhona evangelini. But which year now do you start after everything, after the conviction that you really now know what you are called by God, which year now do you start pastoring?
Pastoring.
Yes, for the land.
It was a long journey also, because when I finished my matric in Cadet College, I went to Umla's Technical College to train for wanted to be an electrical engineer. That was motivated by the people who were supporting me.
But it's not always it was this your passion, or you were just doing it for the people.
People were saying, maybe here.
In the mind.
I remember Dr. Jomo, who was now the deputy minister, that they were saying, yeah, what's all that? Have something else.
Yeah, have something in hand.
Just go do this, go for a job and decide. When I went there, revival just came. It was upside down. They are college in Umlando. I went there, concerts, all my prayers every day were 10. We pray for 20 minutes. But only the classes got straight to the auditorium. Hey, my darling, for selling. Khumbula isikole for the very first time sakhipha i-university ngoba 19 kuba ne-camp. Engenzela esikoleni bakha ngifunda safunda elolam campsite ngosikole safunda everything. Isikole sesingenalo ibhasi safika ne-truck enkulu. I remember nje ama-student ayethuthwa nge-truck siye camping.
That you have organized?
Sihlale esiko khona amanzi deputy from one of the ministries and brothers from Assemblies of God. And yeah, it's revival. There was a shift in the corner school in your team there, and some another gift in that. In fact, by SEO they were confused with how come we call him for the office of friends. I'm not as an SEO and the but why you are calling for this school? This is not allowed. That's why. Address them. ama-address ngoba sasimemile la ecabinet ama-address ukuthi bayisukusetshenziswa kanje you don't have pastor. You can only be a pastor if you are ordained by the church.
Prior before you come here.
Prior before you come here. So ngikhumbula ngelezi ayisebenzisa manje kodwa don't switch to us so lapho ke sisize khona uNkulunkulu wasebenza kakhulu ngoba young as I was now, a bit grown now, but
you are a youth probably.
Yeah, I'm a youth. Yeah, I groom now, and khona abantu njena abantu bazalwa yimi ababafundisa hayi njengoba nginje ngifisa ukhenga ngabona lento ase-Eastern Cape we are all over esikhuluma nje ukuthi we need to do some kind of a reunion esihlangana pastoral churches most of them but lento bayithola esikoleni lesikhathi ngoba indlela yokukhuleka ngayo nje uNkulunkulu esihambele wazalwa imvuselelo ngoNkulunkulu abanye baseMarekana they are pastoral churches.
Baba, what are the people from the church saying? And they, after, because the one thing I know, when God starts to move, what are they saying about all of this? Very sort of engineering, so those are school and all of that.
No, they are saying no. It is not a carnival of people this It's a serious war that's started. Now, when I'm here in Durban now, I have met another brother who is now a pastor here in Durban, Umkhuleko. Now he plays another role. Yeah, he plays another role now of being my big brother and preaching the gospel in the church now. Nabo lapha esihlangana nabo ngoba mangifika eDurban cabe khona bazalantwana baNkulunkulu kodwa lento yokuhlanganisa abantu uNkulunkulu because but then ngabacela bonke esihlangana let's say prayers, let's pray for the revival in our church. Because Umkhuleko had made it clear to me that I'm not going to leave the church up until as I should.
Because I was still coming to the question, if you are this powerful, because it could be very easy for generation later. When God is moving in that dimension, I can look at I start my faith. But you still remain, even though there's negativity that is against.
And that temptation was there. You know, now, enganguba liyaqhubeka le temptation nje sengifundile ngaqeda ngaqala ke manje ukuba umfundisi webandla. Kodwa ngakabi nalo ibandla because my process of training was quite long because of my financial constraints that I had. I would now stop and do umsebenzi othile, then come back to school. So khona abantu, and one of them is my father. Influence who said to me, "What they want to see me." They noticed when they give them order that the moms they give me an offer so they take care of you like this, and it was great offer. Excited by it because by then the process now on my side is very
slow. Okay. It's a slow, so it's a sabotage. It's slow sabotage.
I don't understand it. By then, on my final year, I got married. Let's call it, which was 2006. So khona lezi uzophilela hey but with those great offers And my father washo ngathi no. Ngisemba. Hlala la Umkhuleko.
Yes.
There for 8 years. So when I meet him later, in fact, when I finished training, I'm about one long religious. So I said, since he spent training, yeah, facing the relationship in our
You no longer serve full time. You get to a point where we make as well and all of that. What is serving like full time in the ministry? Ungena because ngiyabona ukuthi mhlawumbe generation yethu sicabangela ukuthi mhlawumbe this is pop and flakes. And with the opportunity of getting closer to abantu bobizwe, I realized that this is not something that I only think of that I want this to be part of my life. What is it like, the dynamics of having to be full time in the ministry?
Into and also, yeah, and it requires a lot of discipline. One of my weaknesses that I had to deal with in the ministry when I became full-time was to stay in one place. Because I had not been used, I did not go like that. And especially in my mainline church, there is less of specialized ministry. Indlela yohamba nje kufanele uhambe kanje yoba umfundisi. And uthola ukuthi we are more of an apostle, we are more, abanye they are more of evangelists, they are more of that, but leyo room ayikho. Yeah, so you get into a local church, you want to go and do revivals and win souls, but the system, the setting does not allow. So there's always a struggle there. Into yokuserve solely depend with guidance and guidance of the Holy Spirit. Ayikho into ongayikhoma nongayibala nongazibonga ngayo ngoba it's about Him doing His business through your life. And I'm frustrated, but confused, and as you grow. But coming back to your question, when I was first placed, my first placement was in a place called Umkhuleko, northern part of Sokhela, which is deep rural, and they did not have a mission house like Amama setting. I was going to stay in a family. So when they let us funda, we are placed, we have a probation or internship. So I still remember very well when I was starting, my wife was working at Umkhuleko, a live movie in Durban, and we had bought a car, a pickup. So when I was sent to my first drive there, number 9 pickup, I still remember what I was crying over. Ngenhlanhla ngangiyazi indawo ngoba umfundisi Umkhize, one of my mentors, abanye abantu abangikholisile, wayesebenza eFryhead, so he would visit these places. Izona futhi ngakwazi ukushumayela lezo. So nginento ukuthi Umkhize wehlala eFryhead edolobheni wakunendlu enkulu, but mina ngithunywe ibandla kodwa ayikho indlu yokuhlala, yokuhlala nzima abantu, lethe ibandla lisazoorganize indawo yami yokuhlala. Angeke ngisafika kwezinye izinto nje ezazipheni ukuthi nangathi sengigraduateile with my diploma, when I was ready to be placed, ibandla lathi, unfortunately, ngesikhathi ugraduate ngaso competence studies, we no longer recognize this institution. So the goalpost was shifted. So we're gonna send you to university so that you can recognize. I learned you know, when you think we are done, so
your color pants.
There's a provide. We are told, you know. Yes, what color society recognize about me?
As I recognize. So, but why were you not informed in the middle of that routine? Don't even go further because we do not recognize it.
I think Baba Mujumdani is what discouraging my studies. I don't know. So ngahamba ke ngalapho mangifika la uNkulunkulu anginike ifamily ngiprovide ngefamily kaNtanzi abantu abanemoya omuhle wakhona wayekholwa. She really took care of me. But when it was on the table, why you shall I why you a setting in Jana setting in the Banja can't provide for me the central officer to take care of me. So I want to mangathi umuntu manje enganami ukuthi nje izonto
bathi kahle mama break
kendo musi ngiyaphuma la ngambela imizi dipora nzima kanjani but abantu asonta bengeni receptive bayakamukela ivangeli zali insizwa la khona ngafika beyoSunday school manje sebamudoda vela ayiyo manje sihle ngene this revival. I remember one day I believe was my I remember one day I believe my family and my baba waseNtabeni ngifundisa ngicela ukufika ngapha empangeni just ngizobona ukuthi singaba ngibhekela ucela ukuthi life is a problem. Ayingayi nakusasa qhubeka nomsebenzi la phinde afone linetha into esiyachaza izimvukela ngibambe ibhasi na istina letho mangifika empangeni sengikhuluma ke manje ngezinto zobisi mangifika empangeni ngimfonela sengila Dr. Ngoma athi no impisi sabhiza sejalo balekile umuntu kanti uzongipha imoto there was a hardboard this manje ukulumthini so ngekathi ngisuka bayafazela ngihamba ngebhasi yona ke moto ngasengiyisebenzisa ukuthatha abazabana naseyinkonzweni nasiyaphi ngaqala ke manje ukuthi I think I'm God and then I shut up ngaphandle kwama-signs and wonders
uNkulunkulu at least ikhona
one provision ayebandla lasilangitholela umuzi ngaqashe endlini kwasenzeka khona so I think nje umuntu obizwe uNkulunkulu kumele abe prepared ukulalela uNkulunkulu futhi fanele abe selflessness ungazicabangi wena cabanga number 2 noma umbuso Paul esiqaphele nomhlamba wabesa you know early stages you know this when I was there take your cross and follow izinto uNkulunkulu zembula as you genuine ezinto ezinkulunkulu angikhombise zona ngisamfana ngisathanda zona ekhaya Mr. Spear ngikangibona manje 10 years later, 12 years later. So always also requires patience. Njengangilana nje emakhaya ukuthi by this time ngidinga probation ngihambe ngena la ezalwazini zingiphakela ama-simple zingiphakela izinto ezinye ngasijayele. I must eat all of those things and ngibe happy ngoba that is how abantu get to receive you if bebona ukuthi awuphakele nabo. By this time abantu engangiqale nabo esikoleni finished A-level abanye basebegcotshiwe abanye fana abanye angibazali basenze begcotshiwe sebafundisi. I'm still admitted. Some of the programs that I wanted to start, even during prayer, I was not allowed to lead them because I was a student. I had to delegate them to abantu abafundisi. Sebeordeniwe ngangibazala kodwa in a way. So lokho nje lwangithobisa uhambe nami ukuthi it's not about it, it's about business. Yeah.
Kuzalwa what is this? Umkhuleko waseNtabeni. I think I saw the movement probably mid-lockdown somewhere there but ngaleso sikhathi khona i-COVID. That's when I knew. Nakho futhi ngibona because of the trend kuma statuses. How does God speak to you about that powerful movement?
Now uma ngisesikoleni I meet a gentleman from an Anglican church, umfundisi uSibusiso Ngema. He's been sent by his church to study theology. So we met at school. Saxhumana ke kakhulu emoyeni nalento kaNkulunkulu. Mase phumele sesebandleni ngiyakhumbula ibandla aphuma kulona lwalise samntwana. He invites me to come and preach. And now and again, but other brothers, our all over. Because in college, seminary too, it was an interdenominational school. So brothers from all over Africa and from all over and from different denominations will come and study there. Then after some time, he calls me and he says, I am now being placed into another church. Ngiyasuka la eSangana sengiya kwaNongoma emsebe. Izothanda ukuthi esiyokhulela khona. It's culture into it. When one of us is supposed to be in the area.
First go and pray.
Yes. So angihambe ngesikhuleke naye kumnandi ayebade lakhe lo noma khona. Bese ngithi yazi kunabomama abathandazayo ngale qeleni. So ahlala ngaphansi bomama from different churches, Anglicans, Methodists and Zionists. They meet and pray. But kulabo mama uNkulunkulu has revealed ukuthi ukhona umuntu ozofika la wakangena who's going to help them kulo msebenzi wabo. And indeed endaweni there was ngema umfundisi baloni bam-approach becabanga ukuthi yena ayiberecognize no yena up until yize angixoxela ukuthi naye awuye kubona lokho yabe lothandaza nami labomama. And then up until he invites me and shares it, I love mama bayakhuleka nje ngale nto they got the everything bebahlala bathandaza. Isikhotha nje ihlosi nje. Then waqala ukushare ke umkhuleko ke then kwenzake nabanye abantu bakhuleka. That's how we were getting involved. So by being invited by this Indian who was my colleague, let's go. So that's one guy, Akula, yathatha nje enye shape njengoba sebeyibona abantu sebeyibona nje nge-10, 20, 30 bese bengibona kulabo mama bathandazana ukungena wakhula kumsebenzi wesintu. That's how I got it. I did not start it. Even did not start it. Ngaba mama abaqala ukuthandaza, but we came mina ufikile ungena then wasengibiza then umsebenzi wakhe waqala ke nawo okay njengoba ke manje sekuthile umhlaba cishe wonke.
When I first saw it, I thought it's a church.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it's a church, but imagine I'm confused because I'm seeing different pastors. Abanye bazela banabo amabandla wabo, and like, oh no, this is a movement. It's not. Ayilona ibandla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the department has been very clear to us from my early stages of what is it. It's not a church. In fact, abantu from my church, some people from my church and from they thought we were starting a ministry. That's the last. That's starting a ministry. We have celebrated 10 years last year. Of course, faithfulness is still a prayer. Now it has become a prayer center. Then we started to build izindlu zamasitudiyo sikazongena bantu abafisa retreater, they can call and walk bathatha ukhiye bangene pray ukhula kanjalo nje umsebenzi womkhuleko. We have launched now ngoba sekuzaleka abanye bezabanye abanamboni umthandazo eMpumalanga nabo they've got a tower abayisile by praying eSwatini khona basibizile bacebisa launch prayer because ilaphayana le vision yakho nje uNkulunkulu ofisa ukufundisa pray. So prayer nje right through never know that it's lelo nje for church probably kusebenza enkulu kodwa kunayo bazobena ngerozo ngayo. It's one of the problems is a complicated to describe. So we have a range of every stage of my life, yes, especially prayers. So my comments was exhausting.
Baba, you've been in the preaching or in the gospel for some time now, for years probably. Zinto nezinto ozifunde manje kudala bakho ofisa ukuthi I wish I would have known about this earlier mhlawumbe izweni. And ndingathanda ukuyisala le question because it helps us ukuthi kukhona status living as one city. Teach your children izinto efunde later in stage, teach them early so that bona bangashayini indlela oshayine ngayo ngoba kuthe kushayini bakusheshe bafundise so that bayifunde bona earlier in life.
One of the great lessons that I've learned is that abantu abanekhono, especially young people, they really need a mentorship. One of the mistakes is to go out before time. Nakubona lokho ngiyathi mangisiyofana ngosho ukuthi want to visualize this one. It kind of like preempted me until Mrs. Bills is to kind of always wait for the time. Ngiyabonga ke manje ngiyahleli banibanga ukuthi ngithume lesikole. We are the same person. trains you fundisa discipline, be exposed ezwini nakubantu ababizwa uNkulunkulu. But akhona waphuma lapha esikoleni fika khona vele uyivuthela nje ufuna ukuyoshumayela. So in a way sinendlela yokusikole ukuzama ukukhama down. But once you graduate, you want to go and preach. So uyamdinga spiritual father, spiritual mother. It's vital. It's vital, especially in a setting whereby you belong to a church, early rotator abafundi. Setting your online church, I'm about to umfundisi hlala with you for 5 years, then bishop and etc. We are dealing a stable kind of government. All will be monitoring you as you grow. Also, in relationship yakho nomfundisi ofike lezophatha ingayitshwe myself, fanele uself futhi fully submit phambi kwakhe. But in relationship yakho naye ihlangana lapho, mase sukele lapho sebanibanda sekufuneka futhi submit to another philosophy. Igcina impilo yakho ke manje iba nama scratches somewhere uthi nama gaps. So into engiyayitshela abantu mina uyadinga ukuthi ube ngumuntu obizwa uNkulunkulu ozokululeka akumolithe abe yizwi phezu kwakho akuqoqe uduleni. Angazi ukuthi ngiyayigcizelela kanjani. Ingakho nje nami ngiguilty. Bakhona abantu abangabaphethe amabandla abayafisa ukuthi mhlambe yes. Yeah. Ngaqala economy ngayithala ngizokumema ngiyo. Actually business whereby I called the government. Abacabanga ukuthi babisi. Not about abanesho. Abacabanga ukuthi babisi. But take some time uzobona ukuthi. In fact uzube busy usebenze obizwe ingakabi short ukuthi. Usacabanga ukuthi you're just doing that to so busy. So I normally call them spasmodic fatigue, but I'm going to push one of my sons and daughters with Norman. It is necessary so that we sit down and abacabanga to what we say. We talk. Ngibafuna bathi hayi
busy ufuna bazicabangela ukuthi kungenzeka
abanga nabanqanele baba nokunqanela nawo uzosekhona ngoba who puts that desire in your life ukunqanela wenza wena lokulangazana yothi umposo wethu bakhona nabalangazelana nabafisayo bama leaders in the church, but who puts that desire in someone's life? It's only God. Wonderful. Because it doesn't call us ngendlela yodwa. Abanye bakhona through isigameko, abanye babiza through passion. Abanye babiza through the thoughts, and most of the times he uses the thoughts. He dropped a thought in your mind, and you think it's you, but it's you.
Yeah.
So singabhali incwadi yokubiza.
Yeah, I can attest to the thoughts. What you see them like, is this me, or is just me and my thoughts? I think most of the time ngiyakwazi ukuthi ngiyayazi ngicabanga ngihamba phela. You have never went as far as that. That could only be God.
Yeah, that's true. Well, work on this strategy, because there is a very thin line between the voice of God and your voice. Especially for umntana kaNkulunkulu, vele umntana kaNkulunkulu, you desire to serve God. Unaleyo desire automatically. But ukhona la uzwa konke, I'm being pushed into another level now. This is not me. This is not me. Now this is God. I potential of having this wrestling. I potential of banana the actors and the answer. Now this is now extraordinary.
In one of your clips, Baba, you mentioned something about Izalukwazi and you are so much passionate in talking into how they used to do things. But at the end, you fear saying, because if I may say, twisted in our days. As a mundo so what can you say to us as young people? What word of wisdom can you share? What word of, I can say wisdom, so that whoever who comes across this, you are well known by many people now. I'm sure when I upload this, the time when I'm uploading it, there will be many people because there's a difference when you really preach. When we preacher, you listen, but imagine I can question, but take me back. But what can you say to us as young people? Because I don't doubt the fact that the Spirit of God is there. The move of God is economic. But there's so much disorder and so much chaos that we are doing. As young people, there's just so much disorder that we are doing.
Yes,
Are you going for? We're talking about 93. I'm probably a toddler at the time. I'm literally a baby.
Yes, this is corner. Any incident cool. Zebanga namhlanje. Ukungahlali kwi-local church. Kwi-local assembly. Instiliwe kahle kubantu bamanje indaba yokuba submissive in the local church. Because God will use a local church to affirm your calling. God will use a local church to groom you. Akazuke ehlizweni. Akubona bonke abantu abanenhlanhla yokuthola Mrs. B abazimentorisha. And nabo Mrs. B abamentorisha nje kodwa baku-local church la abantu. So abantu of this time ifear yami ukuthi balandela all men of God. Abalandeli ama-parents. A man of God, no more woman of God, because he's powerful or she's powerful, or dumile, or we are see someone who will children. I'm not against that, but kufunda ukuhlala ku-local church yakho. Enye imfundiso zami ngine into in organization, if you can call it, or a fellowship ebizwa sonship. Lapho kukhona abantu engibabiza ngamadodana engibazele kamoya nengibakholisayo. Baye bangaba badala nami kodwa they are my sons. Ngoba bazele Nkosi kanjalo. Lapho ngifundisa kakhulu ngokuthi kubalekile ukuhlala ebanjeni in a local church. I use example sesikhona yomshana nendodana. Ngisengaqondile kulimazana ukuthi nami I grew up as umshana. Ukuthi unomehluko phakathi komshana nendodana. You know, indodana umshana mayeshayiwe la kuloniwa. Uyakwazi ukuthi ahambe aye kulodada. Yes. Unalo alternative. Futhi angakhula nje lokho ehlala ngapha nangapha phinde ehlala ngapha. But a son, it's a different story. Mayeshayo la ekhaya uyaphuma naye abandane njengomshana. But mayexoxa igadi hlala phansi. Because he has nowhere else to go. She has nowhere else to go. Fanele azame izindlela zokuthi ubuyela kanjani back home. Ukubaleka kwakhe ngeke kulinganise nokuthi kuphelele egadi. She cannot go as far as enye indawo ngoba fanele angaphumi nalapho. So abantu angaze bandleni sizala abantu abangafuni ukuhlala, abangafuni ukuphatheka, mekwa discipline la siyahamba usiyabelinye ibandla nezwa namhlanje la ingekho into ethi vavavum. Mhlawumbe emsaphenduka kungakhali no keyboard, kungakhali ucula nezandla shawo pampam, kuphuma idimoni kodwa lihayisi. We grew up in that background, so yasenza safunda ukuhlala. Nangamhla ungavuthi enkonzweni safundisa ukuthi into ezangavuthi thina sithandazanga enough. Into ezangavuthi mina ngifika la nje enkonzweni angizange ngithandaze. Did I pray for the service before I come? Thandazile yini? Ngibathandazela nabazoqala amaculo. Because remember i-challenge sasinayo thina ngoba sasifaka le revival. Esifaka ku main line ucula ama-hymns. Usho baba uthi lathi sizocula hymn number 1 aqala umama uthile, no? So when we were growing up, manje lesifundisa ukulayitha imvuselelo wesithile ukuthi thandazela nokuthi uma unikwe ithuba an opportunity to start a hymn, sing in a way that umuntu ezothi noma ngasashwelwanga sengizwele khona. When we are given an opportunity to read a scripture of the day, you are not just reading for the sake of reading. You are ministering to people. So, every opportunity that you get, it's an opportunity to minister, not to uzovela. It was never about us. And it will never be about us as people. It will always be about God. So, abanye abazalwane uNkulunkulu ebathinta sifunda sifundo sanamhlanje sifunda incwadi kaIsaiah chapter 60 verse 1 to 3. Vuka ukhanye ngokuba ukukhanya kwakho sekufikile, inkazimulo kaNkulunkulu iphuma phezulu kwakho.
Lingenaminisi.
No, lingakachaza ngoba asazi uzolichaza ukuthi yebo lingakachaza, but sithandazela ukuthi masilifunda Nkosi lambula ngoba liphilile vele isilapho liwuwe. Your word is liwuwe uphakathi kwabantu because ulizwe. So sicela ukuthi masilifunda thina njengabantu benyama ababuthakathaka kodwa ukulifunda kwethu isilapho uphelezele intambiso, kuphelezelwe uco. That is how the revival was ignited. Now, most of our second and main churches. So, safundisa futhi, I want to say, this is kind of baningi abantu abahamba, especially ebandleni lenkonseli leso sikhathi bethayika insindiso bethi besho bona. But safundisa lasesithandaza khona alikho ibandla lesindiso umuntu that is salvation. And asiqikelele ukuthi simela kahle uKristu. I remember into incebo ecula ngeculo bandeni nalithi yebo ngiyomela uKristu Jesu ngoba ungisindisile ungihlanze inhliziyo makabonge njalo yebo ngiyomela uJesu ngoba ungisindisile. Safundisa ukuthi yekana amakhorasi ngoba amakhorasi awathanda bathanda ama-hymns. Sing the hymns in spirit so that you will see ukusebenza kaNkulunkulu. I'm trying to say amandla emvulwa ngecebo likaNkulunkulu emvulwa kwi-setting ye-local church. Abantu uNkulunkulu angisho behlala amathi uNkulunkulu hamba kodwa abafunda abantu balesi sikhathi ukuhlala. Uyabona la ngikhuluma mina nge-setting lapho okune resistance ekusebenzeni kamandla kaNkulunkulu nabe-Pentecostal yabona nabe-revival. But abazali bethu manje bahlula ukuhlala bekulona ibandla elidlala insimbi, elishumayela insimbiso, ne-setup emvumela ukuthi akhoze ngendlela, but ahluleke ukuhlala ngena la ingavalelisi la ngena la ingavalelisi la sela. And Zambelwa abatshana ngabantu amadoda. Because this is a culture of umshana, culture ongakwazi ukuhlala imanto kaJesu. Usenkulu namhla uphothiwe, usenkulu namhla ushayiwe, usenkulu namhla ungarecognizwanga, usenkulu and ukhulu discipline. As I was saying, the banding around the word, but ibandla not does not measure confidence. I've gone wrong actually. I'm going to tell you this is electricity. And now I have a name from when they were together. I'm going to very much I'm not saying that I'm attached to the church. I'm going to try to worship. Ngiyakuthatha manje uNkulunkulu usengibizela ngaphandle kodwa njengamanje ngiyabona church. But nginayo imindi yokuthi as much as ngicalled kule banda but I'm also called for the work of Christ in general.
That's such humility that's such humility, or a level of humility of knowing in ministry Nkulunkulu I baby about like, God hasn't talked anything about me, I'll still submit with Nkulunkulu I'm placing that takes so much humility and maturity to differentiate.
It's cause for grace. Because when he affirms your calling, you must say he uses people to affirm your calling. So at times also may say he uses people. So who are able to discern the will of God, it calls for his grace. Sometimes we miss it. Or we maturity, it's believing. But it's true, it's grace. It's grace. Most. That helps you not to miss the mark, not to take the wrong path. When you move around turn, it's grace.
This is my last question. It's a 12 What is one testimony of walking with God that is always vivid, even when the challenges or the storms of the gospel comes? We're like, hey guys, I can't move here. I know the God that I'm serving. What is one testimony? I hear the one who says, but what is one thing that still stands out till this day? We're like, there's a God that still lives and exists out there.
My entire life is a testimony. It's a testimony. I understand the question. What I'm doing here in the house is called it's another testimony. It's another confirmation that God has called me. I'm sharing my testimony with you today. Angazi ngesikhathi ngishela nabantu uyothinta impilo zabangaki. But years ngifundile ngiyafakaza ukuthi mina ngisebenza is to see people coming to Christ. So I've prayed for people. I've prayed for people around me. I prayed for people about life. I once prayed for a meeting at Columbus and I prayed for sick people about this. I prayed for about the already my situation is about this. But my testimony, my joy is to people, is to see people getting saved. Being a mistake to know about Christ. is what I said. It was the greatest miracle that happened to my life was to accept Christ. It's setting young for Mrs. Donald. Langizala khona akekho umuntu owafika netenda, akekho umuntu even now uqale nje late kuba khona abantu abenza imvuselelo nje lezo imvuselelo nje, but he's setting an environment. The family set up also enough. I would once be exposed to Christ. Loko la ekhaya kuphelele. Loko nginikwa la ekhaya if bamanzi if kuyintambo. Ngangazi ukuthi I'm not judging other churches as well as well. Ngangazi ukuthi ukhona ukuphila ngegama nje likaJesu. Lord. So mangithi ubufakazi bami obumile ukuthwala uNkulunkulu kumina manje njalo each day ngiyabona. But I must say that I made a mistake in that. But he knows something God has sustained. So, kumuntu obiziwe out there, I would say, be patient with yourself. Don't rush. Don't rush. Because it means that you feel izinto ezayo ukusheshisa. Don't rush. And don't have to have there's a story that I will share. Uphendulile kama mpozo wako?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Anything I found that lapho sisikhona ukuthi amandla omthandazo ngempela. In fact, lapho in your prayer lapha khona. Mangibona ogogo bethi bayibona incwadi evela esibhedlela. Evela kodwa but bakholwa uNkulunkulu asezweni. Nakithi khona into abethikaza ngane ephezulu. Mangibona ugogo ngakunesuku kunganethi. Benyuke bayendabeni. Banyuke bephethe ama-umbrella. But I have to see what's in it. So yes, I'm it. And indeed, God libuya libe lishayo. Kanti behleli indabeni becela imvula. So ngabona ukuthi uNkulunkulu uyaphi. Izinto zakhe singazi-accessa through humility, through prayer. Nokuhlala ke. Yeah.
You are actually the 11th person that I've sat with, namhlanje, and every person that I've sat with, prayer is the priority. Akhono yedwa ngitshela into yakhe pray. Before kungena humility no-submission yonke lezinto, prayer was what sustained them in ministry. And the funny part is that about 80% yabantu ngosenhleli nabo so far is that they come from a family that when they accepted Christ, evangeli belibuyiswa. But and they were still young. They were still, but they pushed and they fought for the gospel. Because they were still very young. They were still very young. So I think I normally say this, I learn a lot when I'm sitting here. Umuntu ekhuluma isebenzise isikhuluma but ngifuna kakhulu when sengedit because i-edit angiphoza ngibelakhe aze ngafeyila la was uNkulunkulu wangiphendula usungiphendule nje 2 questions ebekade nginazo from yesterday. uNkulunkulu ahlale phansi angiphendule nami and ngine hope at the end of the day because everyone who sits here asks ukuthi then uzothemba information inhliziyo yami ngathi the way impacting ngakhona impilo yami. When I felt down, when I felt discouraged, I go to my phone, pangele one of the settings. Ilalele khona ngizophinde ngibe-revive ukuthi God really said I should do this. So ngine hope yokuthi with the questions that I have now, uma seyifika kuyo umuntu elalela, uNkulunkulu uyomphendula the same way God has answered me. The same way God has answered.
Yeah, man. Hey. Now I want to say thank you for this is cut. You wanna? I'll tell you that a little too much of this. Is included as a sonship Muslim. As only this don't have a talk. And was the singer. But John talk and the number is something refreshed. Putting his strength with him.
So
thank you so much. And I'm praying to go up near his strength.
Yes.
I've learned not told him. Did you try? Mamufundisi sebengikhumbuza kodwa uzikhona ngibona isiplane kuyenzeki. So I pray to God that that patient. But he has called you.
I think I was saying to my sister just recently that one of the things God I think would for this on practically, I'm very systematic. I stayed in the boarding school. I found the system.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm a bit impatient.
Yeah.
For the super patient. I remember to go for the super patient. I was like, God, I thought there was a better way of for the super patient. Not this. You learn to be patient. Udulu kuzubona ukuthi yazini angithethe kazi phansi umzalwana akazobuyela nje bethe uyeza usengenzeka ngangini. Like I learned a lot in doing this. I learned a lot in doing this. I don't think we'll be patient are very fine in it. Because if mthambe ngenza abantwana abanganga age group yami, I would have called me like just say uyeza noba uzi simple. But now because it's older people, you're like, and are you coming or just one word today? Yes or no, so that but you can't. You tell the whole full but you still tomorrow for like, you know what?
Yeah, please.
It takes time.
Please, Vanda, not to share not necessarily mine, but
the rest of the other people.
The rest of the men and women of God, because I know how rich is this. Isn't I know they are legends. They are generals. 60 years. 60 just in the gospel. With 60 years in the gospel. We're going to tap into this fountain. And this is a cool and a cool. Uthe umusithi today ufika sifike it made me kind what ngathi kusetha some guys we cannot tell stories manje sithi hayi because busela yonke le phintshela amakhabe izinto sihlela ibalcon story la isitshane what because besikhuphela ukuthi sifumigate kahle emakhabetheni. I was like, when I'm getting this opportunity I can't say no. Abuye sala nesalona ukufona usisi lo secretary ihlala phansi and the lady when it comes like what's happening. I'm like lo muntu ebethe angasafiki usefikile bese ngicabanga ukuthi angafiki. I took my bags, I ran because I'm like I cannot miss umusula ngeke ngibe angikwazi kwenza enye into sofikile because angazi ukuthi ngoze ngiphinde ngithole nini from now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bless you. Agcine aqhubeke kusiza so I bring gracious for my life as well.
She was very nice to me though. She was very nice even though he feel ukuthi akangenzalanga kahle because I was like ngicela ukukhuluma naye baba and she agreed. Manje bese ngithi follow up was like enanga ama number wakhe ngithi hayi bo kanti uthi hayi phela sengingixolelile but now go and say it yourself. I'm like mina bengifuna umtshela ukuthi hayi ukuthi yes take the stop but nasengifika ngondlalela i-crowd lapha but she was very nice. I do not want to lie. She was very welcoming because sometimes we get to tatazela sabukhoqa or sabu rejection which you get sometimes. But when you get someone who's welcoming you ulala une-peace ngalelo langa.
In fact intenza the recording the incomplete ukuthi asikhuluma ngayo ukuthi ukubuza la
ngobisi
she explained
esho
uNkulunkulu angiphambi njengayo I'm sure that so uNkulunkulu connects dots so this is very good person ongelele kakhulu hambeni lami yeah sahlangana naye last year uyafunda she was my secretary chairperson we-SCO ubungisho kwabhala kahle Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.